This is Music, and this is another episode of Songs from the Pukebox. Welcome to another episode of Songs from the Pukebox. It's just a What's Spinning series. Terrible title, awful pun. I know. Let's move on. So the idea is basically that I share with you some of the music that I have listened to over the last week or so and just talk about it, maybe recommend it, maybe warn you against it. This time I have a handful of CDs and I've been listening to these over the last week while marking re-exam papers. August is re-exam season, and it's just nice to listen to some good music while doing that. So let's get down to business. Up first, LoveBites in the Beginning. I have shown this one before in an entire video actually dedicated to this compilation album. And I just picked these CDs randomly out of my CD collection. So this is a compilation, and now you Wolfpack members, you have to help me out here. As far as I remember, it's the fans of the band voted on which songs to include on this best of. So it's kind of the fans who made the decision. I think, as far as I know, I could be wrong. Please correct me if I am. So this was my introduction to LoveBites, and I deliberately designed it like that because the old school way that we would do back in the day, the old school way to get introduced to a band was very often to go out, either just blind buy an album or to go out, buy maybe a compilation CD, maybe on vinyl, maybe on cassette tape, a best of, just to see if it's something that we would like. And this one floored me. It hooked me after the first listen. This is power metal in my opinion, and they bring the power back to power metal. To be honest, especially European power metal had become a bit wimpy in my opinion, but these ladies bring the power back. The songs are larger than life. You have your Schlager style vocal melodies and choruses, all that good stuff. Fantastic musicianship. The drummer she's amazing, and the two guitarists are just amazing too. Great guitar work. So to me, it's power metal. It's very epic. You do have a lot of just traditional heavy metal elements too, and this is my favorite part, you have quite a lot of thrash metal elements too. So for example, Winds of Transylvania is a kind of a symphonic power thrash song. And you have Thunder Vengeance, you have Break the Wall, and as far as I remember, the Hammer of Wrath. They are all out thrash metal songs. So I absolutely love this compilation, and it did inspire me to go out and buy a whole bunch of albums by LoveBites that I look forward to really digging into. I haven't had the time to do that yet. So this is great stuff. The vocalist has a very unique style. As far as I understand, she was an R&B vocalist before joining this band. But she has a very unique style. I really like her voice. She's the perfect fit. But I will say that it takes me a song or two to kind of get used to her singing style, but I think it's great when that moment just clicks. So awesome power metal. Up next, Mary's Blood. So in the same neighborhood, self-titled. And again, you Wolfpack members have to help me out. I don't know what the Mary's Blood fans are called, Bloody Marys. I don't know, but you gotta help me out too. As far as I understand, Mary's Blood and LoveBites, the the predecessor to those bands was a band called Destrose, and it broke up, and some of the members formed LoveBites and some of them formed Mary's Blood. Mary's Blood is also power metal in my opinion, but it has more of a modern metal edge. LoveBites, they have more of an old school edge with a new school production, but this is kind of like new school power metal with, you know, melodic metal elements, and I think this is great stuff too. Saki, their guitar player, she's a fantastic lead guitarist too, and obviously rhythm guitarist too. The guitar tone is very heavy, and like, I don't remember if I said this, but the atmosphere is quite darker on here. My favorite song on here is probably Let Me Out. Has larger than life chorus that you can sing along to, but all of the songs are certainly enjoyable. Some of the songs have a very kind of Japanese sounding style, and that's probably by design, that these ladies decided to infuse their metal music with elements from their cultural background, which I obviously applaud. So this is great stuff too. Their vocalist has a kind of a similar approach to singing as the vocalist, is it Asami from LoveBites? I can't remember. But their vocalist here is called Ai. So Ai has a similar approach, but I mean, they're both unique singers. They don't sound alike, but they just have, I think, a similar approach to singing. This is great stuff too. Up next, authentic heavy metal from, you know, the new wave of British heavy metal. Saxon, Strong Arm of the Law. Most of the songs on here are absolute bangers, like Heavy Metal Thunder, To Hell and Back Again, 2000 Feet. Lots of bangers on here. The title track is a bit more of a boogie rocker, which is fine, and you do have a couple of subpar tracks on here in my opinion too, but overall this is a great hard rocking heavy metal album. Biff sounds like Biff, and that's just perfect. I think this might be a good gateway into early Saxon perhaps. So there you go, Saxon. Up next, an album that has been trashed a whole lot, Suffocation's Breeding the Spawn. What people trash about it, that's the production. I gotta be honest, I don't have a problem with the production. There's some parts I like, some parts I don't like. Musically, it's technical, brutal death metal. You got your pinch harmonics, you got your proto slam riffs, and the technical parts are, they kind of verge on being progressive in parts. So musically, this is just as great, I think, as the Effigy of the Forgotten and Pierced from Within. The vocals, I think it's not Frank Mullen's best work, to be honest. It's not bad, they're just a bit more monotonous than on the other Suffocation classics. But musically, I think this is great stuff. I don't have a problem with it. You got your Mike Smith style blast beats, and it's nicely, the brutality is nicely balanced out with the technicality. The part of the production that I don't like, the lead guitars are a bit too low in the mix. Maybe the drums sound a bit woolen, but that's about it. The guitar tone has this more, I don't know if it's actually recorded in Morris sound, but it has the Morris sound, if you know what I mean. And I really like how audible the bass is. The bass has a nice warm kind of round tone, and that the fact that you can hear the bass, I think that's what kind of makes the technical parts seem very progressive too, because it kind of reminds me a bit of a Cynic and Atheist's old stuff. So I think this is a great album. I don't have a problem with the production, just some minor points. And up last, Ultimatum, The Mechanics of Perilous Times, featuring the VC's own Scott Waters on vocals. This is thrash metal, speed metal meets heavy metal. These old school metal styles are very nicely balanced. You got some fast and fierce thrash metal riffs and some just traditional heavy metal parts too. And one thing I really like is, and maybe I'm completely wrong here, but there's some parts here that you could hear those on a Motley Crue album from the 80s. So I thought that was pretty cool. Scott Waters' unique barking style vocals are great too. So I think this is a great thrash metal album as well. So there you go. 5, in my opinion, very good albums. I enjoyed listening to them all. I would recommend them all, to be perfectly honest. Even Breeding the Spawn. Thanks for watching.